Ok, hola a todos. Hola y bienvenidos a otra clase. Vamos a ver primero quién tenemos en el chat. Tenemos, no puedo pronunciar sus nombres. Olgumor, Manuel, Flor, Eliana. Si eres miembro de mi canal, pueden unirse a la clase. Tiene que ser esta plata o oro. Voy a poner aquí el enlace para que pueden ir. Está aquí. Tienen que ir para los miembros. Van a la tab de la comunidad y en la tab de la comunidad van a encontrar otra. Ahí está el tab de la comunidad, está en el chat. Y ahí van a encontrar otro enlace para juntar a la conferencia. ¿Tenemos alguien en la conferencia? Vamos a ver quién tenemos en la conferencia. Tenemos, bueno, no tiene sonido. Hay una persona ahí, pero no tiene sonido. La tema de hoy, vamos a seguir hoy con la clase el nivel B2, que es intermedio alto. Es un nivel bastante difícil realmente. No es para principiantes. La mayoría de la clase debería estar en inglés, pero bueno, ahora estoy hablando en español. Vamos a ver, déjame sacarlas o poner la pantalla. So, la tema de hoy es el past perfect continuous. Past perfect continuous. Este tema sigue de la clase anterior, que fue past perfect. Hoy vamos a ver past perfect continuous, que es muy parecido. Muy parecido. Y se usa, el uso también es parecido, pero un poco diferente. This one. So, past perfect continuous. Este es el tiempo que vamos a ver hoy. Pero también he puesto aquí the past perfect que vimos en la clase anterior. So, the past perfect que vimos en la clase anterior fue sujeto, verbo auxiliar had, más el pasado participio o past participle del verbo principal. Y el past perfect continuous es muy parecido, pero en esta ocasión tenemos igual el sujeto, después el auxiliar had igual, pero está seguido por been, que es el pasado participio del verbo be, y después, aquí puso el past participle, pero este debería estar el present participle, o el verbo con ing, en español se llama el gerundio. Son muy parecidos esos dos tiempos. Es como el presente perfecto y el presente perfecto continua. El presente perfecto, no tengo espacio, vamos a poner otra página. Esos tiempos son parecidos. Vamos a poner otra página aquí. The present perfect, si recuerden, el presente perfecto es sujeto más have más el pasado participio. You have worked, por ejemplo. Y el present perfect continuous is you have been working. So, esos son parecidos porque el pasado perfecto es you had worked y el pasado, el past perfect continuous is you had been working. Esos dos que estamos viendo hoy. So, la diferencia entre present perfect and past perfect es solo que estamos cambiando el verbo auxiliar have a su pasado, had. Y aquí igual, you have been working, you had been working. So vamos a ver los usos o el uso. Hoy estamos haciendo este porque este past perfect traté de eso en la clase anterior. Y si recuerden, el uso del past perfect, use the past perfect to talk about the past of the past. So we use the past simple to start a story in the past. This was the example from last week. Miguel left Brad's house at 4 p.m. and Sarah arrived at Brad's house at 4:30. So two events in the past in chronological order. First, Miguel arrived. First Miguel left. Second, Sarah arrived. So if we want to empezar la historia en el segundo evento, tenemos que decir, when Sarah arrived, Brad had already left. Brad left before, going backwards. Si lo digo así, Miguel left Brad's house at 4 p.m. and Sarah arrived at Brad's house at 4:30 p.m. I'm going forwards, voy adelante en la historia. But a veces quiero empezar en un punto o queremos empezar en un punto y ir por detrás. Y en ese caso tenemos que usar el pasado perfecto. Y este es el segundo. When Sarah arrived at Brad's house, when Sarah arrived at Brad's house at 4:30 p.m., Miguel had already left. Los dos frases significan igual, pero el segundo es más realmente más natural porque quiero hablar de cuando Sarah llegó. So eso fue de la semana pasada, el past perfect. Y the past perfect continuous también, we also use the past perfect continuous to talk about the past of the past, igual. However, the past perfect continuous emphasizes the activity. Como todos los tiempos en continuo, queremos más enfocar en la actividad, una actividad en el pasado del pasado. So vamos a ver el ejemplo. When I woke up this morning, it had been raining for a long time. So aquí estoy, yo desperté a las 7 de la mañana, por ejemplo. This is in the past simple. Y it had been raining. Significa que empezaba a llover horas o un tiempo antes que yo desperté y siguió lloviendo hasta que yo desperté. Puedo, por ejemplo, cambiar esta historia. When Sarah arrived at Brad's house, I think I can take that bit out there. When Sarah, para dar otro ejemplo, when Sarah arrived at Brad's house, Miguel had already left. Aquí, when Sarah arrived at Brad's house, let's put in here, it had been raining for 2 hours and, see if I can move that up now. So there may be another example, otro ejemplo. I can't move that. Let's try and move this here so we can see that. Yeah. So now we have another example because aquí estoy usando los dos tiempos. When Sarah arrived, past simple, un evento o un punto en el pasado. It had been raining for 2 hours. Significa que voy por detrás en la historia. En español había estado lloviendo, creo. Había estado lloviendo. Entonces en español es el mismo uso. It had been raining for 2 hours and Miguel had already left. So the difference between the past perfect que vimos la semana pasada and the past perfect continuous es las dos refieren a un evento en el pasado del pasado, el pasado del pasado, pero the past perfect simple está enfocado en eventos terminados y el past perfect continuous está enfocado en actividades con duración. Vamos a ver algunos ejemplos. Just let me check the chat. If you've got any questions, you can put your questions in the chat. Yeah, ha estado lloviendo. Es puesto algo. Ha estado lloviendo es it has been raining. Este es el presente perfecto continua. Aquí estamos tratando del pasado perfecto continua, que es it había estado lloviendo. So, is that correct, Irma?
Yes, o estuvo lloviendo.
Pero estuvo lloviendo. No creo que ese es el mismo tiempo. Estuvo lloviendo. ¿Qué tiempo es? Es que, mira, es que hay otros.
Oh, yes, that's correct. You're correct. Estaba lloviendo.
Estaba lloviendo es el past continuous.
Estuvo lloviendo. Había estado lloviendo.
It was raining. Para mí estaba lloviendo.
It was raining, yeah.
This is past continuous.
Past continuous, yeah.
Aquí estamos hablando, it had been raining.
Had been raining, yeah.
Este es el pasado del pasado. Mira. When I arrived, it had been raining for 2 hours. O sea, el pasado es que cuando yo llegué, había estado lloviendo. Eso es como se dice en español, ¿no? Creo.
Sí, sí, es correcto.
Yeah. Cuando llegué, es con acento, ¿no?
Sí.
Había estado lloviendo por 2 horas. So, es el mismo, ese es el pasado del pasado, una actividad en el pasado del pasado. En este caso, en el pasado del momento cuando yo llegué. En este caso, con el pasado continua, estamos hablando de una actividad en el pasado, no en el pasado del pasado. ¿Sí? Esa es la diferencia. Este es para una actividad en el pasado y este es para una actividad en el pasado del pasado. Vamos a ver otros ejemplos. Si alguien tiene preguntas, pueden ponerlos en el chat. When James arrived home, he was very tired because he had been working all day. So, casi siempre tenemos que usar este tiempo combinado con el pasado. Siempre cuando empezamos hablando del pasado y queremos cambiar el marco de tiempo, un tiempo anterior, tenemos que cambiar el pasado perfecto. Por ejemplo, o en este caso, el pasado perfecto continua. Aquí tenemos el verbo arrived. When James arrived home. So, esta es una frase que nos indica un tiempo en el pasado, el punto en que James llegó a su hogar. He was very tired. Otra vez con was en el pasado. Estamos hablando en ese punto en el pasado, el momento que llegó a su casa, fue cansado because he had been working all day. So, he had been working una actividad antes que llegó. Y aquí no mencionó en esta clase, sí en el anterior, sí dijo, podemos, generalmente los nativos usan la contracción. So the contractions are I'd, we saw these last week, you'd, he'd, she'd, we'd. En cambio de decir I had, decimos I'd. En cambio de decir you had, decimos you'd, we'd, and they'd. They'd been working all day. I'd been working all day. You'd been working all day. He'd been working all day. Sorry, I put an S here, should be a D. She'd been working all day. We'd been working all day. And they'd been working all day. Second example, the boys were very wet, este verbo está en el pasado, because they'd been playing, past perfect continuous. She got lost in London, in el pasado, because she'd only been living. So she got lost in London. She'd only been living there 2 weeks, or for a week, sorry, before she got lost. She'd been watching the movie for 2 hours when there was a power cut. Había estado viendo la película por 2 horas cuando había un corte de luz. She'd been watching, sorry, that's the same one, yeah. This is the past perfect continuous. And this one is in the past. I'd been teaching English for 20 years when I started my YouTube channel in 2016. So this happened in 2016, 3 years ago, and I'd been teaching English for 20 years before I started the YouTube channel. The football match had only been going on for 20 minutes, past simple, when play was stopped due to the, sorry, this is not past simple. This is the past perfect continuous. Sorry. Yeah, this is the one in the past simple here. I went past simple to the dentist last week because my tooth had been aching. Mi diente había estado doliendo por mucho tiempo. They'd been driving, aquí estoy usando la contracción, for over 8 hours when the car broke down. Past simple. So en cada hay uno en el pasado y uno en el pasado del pasado, o en el pasado perfecto continuo. We often use the past perfect continuous with for or since to indicate how long something had been going on. So we use for a length of time. For example, I had been working for 1 minute. I had been working for 2 days. I had been working for 3 weeks. I had been working for 10 months. I had been working for 100 years. No importa el largo. And we use since for a point in time. Point in time. So for a length in time. And since for a point in time. For example, 3 o'clock. Tuesday, November the 24th, 1979. These are points in time. Here's an example. He'd been studying for 3 hours when they arrived. Or he'd been studying since 3 o'clock when they arrived. So for 3 hours, for with a length of time, since with a point in time. What else have we got? So aquí comparando, un ejemplo comparando el presente, el past perfect with the past perfect continuous. This is the past perfect que vimos la semana pasada. I had already run 10 kilometers when I fell over. Or I'd been running for 50 minutes when I fell over. Aquí como estamos contando kilómetros, tenemos que usar el past perfect simple. Y aquí como estamos contando tiempo, tenemos que usar past perfect continuous. And this would be with the contraction too, yeah. I'd already run 10 kilometers when I fell over. Fell over is el pasado de fall over. es un verbo compuesto, que significa caer. Or, I'd been running for 50 minutes when I fell over. We use the continuous form with how long. How long had you been waiting when your wife arrived? How long had you been waiting when your wife arrived? And the simple form with how many? How many cups of coffee had you drunk when your wife arrived? How many cups of coffee had you drunk when your wife arrived? Okay, do you have any questions, Irma?
No, so far so good, but
So far, so
but
good.
the
Very good phrase.
question,
Yeah.
with the questions, I don't know.
Yeah, this is pretty. This is upper intermediate. Anybody in the chat has any good questions? Florentina, hi. Florentina, if you are a member, so puedes ir y juntar a la conferencia. Si eres plata o oro. Who else? Anybody got any questions in the chat? Has anybody got any questions? Well, I've got some questions here for you. So, in these questions, we need to put, here we got two verbs, okay? You've got to put the verb in the correct tense. Past or past perfect continuous.
Oh, past
So,
or past perfect?
yeah, past or past perfect continuous. Mark, for several years before he...
Mark had been running
Very good, yeah. Mark had been running.
for several
Mark had
years.
been running for several years.
Before he
Mark had been running for
be-
several years before he
won his first race.
won his first race. Good. The next two verbs, same thing with this one, Irma. This time the verbs are say and tell.
Mm.
Any ideas?
Alas, I
Oh,
saw.
this is the wrong verb. Sorry, this should be read. Sorry. Sorry about that.
Alas, I had read the book.
No.
No.
Well, it's possible. Okay, it's possible. But aquí quiero en el pasado o el pasado, past perfect continuous. Y eso fue en el presente perfecto. So tienes que ponerlo en el pasado o el past perfect continuous. Anyone in the chat too can answer. If you're in the chat, you can answer the questions.
At the past,
Un verbo está en el pasado y otro verbo está en el past perfect
at
continuous.
last I read the book that everyone had been telling me.
Very good, yeah. At last I read the book that everyone had been telling me about. Good. How long before the accident drive happened?
How long had he been driving before the accident happened?
Very good, yeah. That's a question, yeah. I didn't mention questions, but how long had he been driving before the accident happened? How long had he been driving before the accident happened? Next one. They for 15 minutes when it.
They had been playing for 50 minutes when it began to rain.
Good. We can use the contraction here. Say they'd been playing for 15 minutes when it
began to rain.
It began to rain. Very good, Irma. Yeah. Although they on the project for 2 years, it's still.
Although they had been working on the project for 2 years.
Good. Yeah. And here we can use the contraction. They'd been working on the project for 2 years.
It's still.
I can't move that.
It's not finished or not be finished. I don't know.
No, verb be. El verbo be en el pasado.
Is still did not finish. Oh, although they for 2 years.
¿Cómo se dice el verbo be en el pasado?
Was.
Yeah, negativo.
Wasn't.
Yeah, it still wasn't.
Wasn't.
Yeah, es fácil, pero estás pensando de las cosas demasiado profundos. Eso a veces pasa. Very good, Irma. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
I got some more questions here. These are easier, I think. Put okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put the correct verb in the space in the past perfect continuous.
Past perfect continuous? All of them?
Past perfect continuous, all of them in the past perfect continuous, yeah.
The first one, they had been traveling for 2 days before they arrived.
Yeah, very good. They had been traveling for 2 days. I already got that bit there. For 2 days before they arrived. Past perfect continuous. Very good. This is actually, shouldn't have this here, sorry.
The stars?
Yeah, las estrellas. In el cielo, in the sky, not las estrellas in Netflix or whatever.
James had been looking the stars.
Pues puede ser looking at, pero no lo quité el at. Actually, it's watching. Observando. That's como watching. James sorry, had been watching.
Had been watching the stars before he
We could contract this to and say James had been watching. James had been watching. This is como la gente habla. What James had been watching. James had been watching. So si tú escuchas lo vas a decir, James had been watching. Ira had been answering the questions for 15 minutes when I tuned in. Richard had been teaching the class for 30 minutes when I started watching. So this is como los nativos pronuncian eso. No vas a escuchar la palabra had.
Been. Yeah.
Solo lo vas a escuchar este sonido. Richard ud, Irma ud, James ud. I'd.
Yeah.
Okay, James had been watching. Past perfect continuous. How long?
The child. How long the child? Had been waiting. How
long has a question? So we had the child been waiting. Very good.
Before his dad picked him up.
How long had the child been waiting? Past perfect continuous. Number 4.
They had been dating for
Yeah,
3
good.
months
Yeah.
before
And
Peter
we're going to
asked
use,
her to marry.
what did I do now? Um, so we're going to use the contraction. They'd been
They'd
dating
been
for
dating.
3 months before Pete asked her to marry him. Very quick. Let's put, maybe we should put this couple of years, I think. 2 años, no 3 meses. 2 years. Too quick.
Yeah, at least.
Maybe 10 years. Sarah.
Sarah had been taking a shower for a half an hour
Yeah, very
before.
good. So again, we're going to use the contraction. Sarah had been taking. Sarah had been taking. Sarah had been taking. James had been watching. This is how native speakers pronounce. Sarah had been taking. I think that's Sarah's wrong, actually. It should be like that. Sarah? No, it's like that, isn't it? How do you spell Sarah? I think it's like that, yeah. Sarah had been taking a shower. And the last one, Irma. How long?
Had even.
Yeah. In the question, we can't use the contraction. How long had even
looking to for a job?
been looking? You
I've
missed
been
the name.
looking for
Been
a
looking.
job.
No
Been
two.
looking
No
for a
two. Yeah.
Been looking
How
for
long
a
had
job.
even been looking?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the congratulations, Irma. Very good.
Thank you.
That's the last question. That's the end of the class today. Thanks for attending the class, Irma. And congratulations.
Thank you, teacher.
Your English is very good.
Thank
So
you.
es todo para hoy. Gracias a todos en YouTube y espero regresar la próxima semana con otra clase. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.